What is going on, YouTube people? New York Cards and Comics here. Today, have a little discussion about hype and FOMO and how live sports kind of play into all that. eBay had sent me over some really interesting data around the Super Bowl and football season, around some key moments, and it is a very interesting little insight and look behind the doors of just how crazy stuff gets when something happens on the field or on the court. And also, it kind of really brings home, you have to be ready to fire away and sell when something like this or things like this pop up. I briefly hit on it in yesterday's in the weekly sports card market update with the Luka and Fox stuff. But it's just crazy how much traffic, we all see it. We see all the listings go up when a player goes off. And then we see the sales pages get wiped out when something happens. But to actually see the numbers behind it, what I found very interesting. So I'm going to flip over to some slides here. eBay sent me the information over on some stuff, and then I, repurposed it into some more visually appealing slides. So I'm going to pull those up real quick. So the first little nugget is on Jalen Hurts and, basically the Super Bowl winning MVP honors. His search percentage, so like people searching for his stuff, his cards, increased over 600% in one day, just based off the Super Bowl results compared to the daily average the week prior. That is absolutely crazy. And to be quite frank, the numbers get a little bit crazier as we look at some other stuff. But a 600% increase on searches is wild. And this, I think, really plays into that idea of the more, people watching sports card YouTube content and going to shows every week and, deep into the IG sphere of sports cards, etc. I think a lot of times we lose track of just the person that wants to own a card to lock in that moment. And, we've seen it in the past a lot of times with base cards specifically. Sometimes when stuff gets crazy, a lot of times just a base PSA 10 whatever will see a bigger increase than some more air quote valuable / sought after cards. And I think it's because a lot of the buyer base for those cards aren't people that normally buy. They're not thinking like, oh, I got to get the silver, or I got to get the color match, or I need to get the numbered out of 99 or whatever. They're like, no, I just want a PSA 10 Hurts card to have on my desk, at work, to have on the nightstand, whatever, to put with my Super Bowl hat, to put with the program from the game, whatever it might be. They just need that one little piece to kind of finish off a little display somewhere. And they don't need to have the one that's going to hold value long term, because the value is in the actual wanting to collect the item. I know, radical take there. But I think that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. Because if you're actually doing this to air quote flip, make money, whatever, you're not going to be buying Hurts hours after the Super Bowl ended. It's the worst possible time to be buying. You should be selling, not buying at that point. Here's another little nugget they sent me over. February 9th, when he recorded the pick 6, searches for Cooper DeJean increased 1,400% on eBay compared to the daily average the previous week. 1,400% for good old Cooper on just one play. Just one play increased the search results, or the search queries, by 1,400%. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And once again, we saw this play out. I remember going and looking at the sold listings page and seeing his, prisms just flying off the board as fast as they could get listed. People were just smacking the bin on it immediately right after that happened. And it's for the same reason as what we just talked about. People aren't buying Cooper cards to invest in him. It's a defensive back in his rookie year. He's good, but like, how many DBs cards hold value? They're buying it because they want to own it in most cases. I don't think people are going out there trying to flip Cooper DeJean cards. You know, maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm sure someone's trying it, but I bet you that's not where a bulk of the purchases are going. This one's showing a little bit more of a wider spread. It's talking in January 2025 when Jayden Daniels took the Commanders on their playoff run to the NFC Championship game. Global eBay searches for Jayden Daniels increased over 1,400% compared to the first month of the season. So that run through the playoffs just absolutely juiced his search results. And once again, we saw this play out on the opposite side in the charts and graphs, going up on prices. And then we see a more specific breakout there. His stuff was getting searched over 4,000 times per hour. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. 4,000 times per hour for a single player? I don't know. To me, that seems pretty wild. And then the last one that they threw at me, the most searched quarterbacks on eBay globally since the preseason began. So this is August 1st through February 10th. Jayden Daniels, CJ Stroud, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. None of those names surprise me. If you would have told me to guess the five, I guess I might have snuck in Tom Brady just for the legacy factor. I don't know who I would have taken off the list. Now, maybe Brady was excluded from the list because he is not an active quarterback. That absolutely could be a consideration here, but he would be the one that I would probably sneak on to this list if you told me to guess. If I said, hey, guess the top 5 search quarterbacks from this period to this period, he might be the one non-active player I would sneak on there. But otherwise, to me, this list 100% checks out based off of the preseason hype on Stroud, the in-season hype on Jayden Daniels. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and Burrow and Allen are Burrow and Allen. I mean, Allen was in the MVP conversation. Burrow had a great season statistically, started slow. I guess the only other one that would make sense to be on here would be Lamar Jackson. I'd be curious to see how close he was to knocking one of these guys off the list, as he had a tremendous season as well and was also in the MVP running for a hot minute. But he was not able to crack the top 5. It also shows the hype and power that the unknowns have. You know, CJ Stroud had 1 season under his belt and had all this promise coming into the season. Just got Stephon Diggs on the team, had Tank Dell, Nico Collins. Things were looking great. Season starts. He basically underperformed the entire season. Jayden Daniels had a little bit of hype coming into the season, but it was more generated during the season and what could be, where it could go. Oh my gosh, he's only a rookie. Whereas Lamar, we know what Lamar is. Lamar basically has to prove it and go all the way to a Super Bowl and win it at this point for people to change their perception of him. The perception is he's a really good quarterback that just can't actually get it done. Mahomes, like I said, Allen, and Burrow both had tremendous seasons. I think Burrow maybe getting replaced with Lamar wouldn't be super surprising for me. But Allen was pretty much good wire to wire. But these guys, you know, Allen specifically, are starting to fall into that same category as Lamar of the, you know, what have you done for me lately crew. You know, at some point in time, you have to get over that hump. Now we'll see if Patrick Mahomes' mojo has finally worn off. He obviously led the team to a great record. I don't know that he had that great of a season statistically, and I don't know that the team is going to be able to keep it up around him as they continue to age, but we'll have to see on that. So, like I said, just some interesting data that they shot me over in an email from the NFL season, and I thought, you know, it kind of just backs up what you kind of see with your own 2 eyes. Like, it's semi-obvious, but to see the actual specific percentages, I thought was really, really interesting. So that's all I got for you, boys and girls. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.